So welcome to the team call for those of you who have never been on before, and this is your first team call. Every week we have a team call on Monday nights, and some weeks it's a mastermind where we're just kind of chatting and brainstorming, and some weeks it's another leader from another team or a leader from our team sharing, and so I'm excited about tonight's call. As always, come as you are. If you're, got kids running around, it's totally fine. I mean, we love that. We just want you guys here. And so I'm just excited to see so many of you guys on. So tonight we get us to hear from a special guest, Erin. So Erin has been a coach for about a year and a half now. And it's been so cool as just like her upline and her leader to get to see God use her in incredible ways. Erin, I remember when she came and she signed up, she was 2 months postpartum. And so she was rocking her own fitness journey. I mean, she still is, but she was just getting started. She was a new stay-at-home mom. And she can tell all you guys all this, but just her coming to me, I mean, what I've seen God do in her life over the past year and a half of just working in her and using her in ways that she never imagined. Literally, y'all, this girl is she's from a small town with one red light, So it's hitting Success Club, being consistent, making these things happen. It's not like she had this massive network of people when she came into this business. And so it's been so cool to see how God's worked in her heart and just grown her confidence in Him and her boldness in these products. And really how these products have also changed her life, because I think that's a big part of her story. So she literally has a heart of gold. I'm not even kidding you. Yeah, I'm just so excited for you guys to hear from her tonight. Like I said in the introductory post a few months back, she came to me and she's like, Caroline, I know I've got to be hitting Success Club consistently. What do I need to be doing? And I was like, we had a conversation. I was like, it's a mindset shift. You gotta make it a non-negotiable. And she literally has done that and hasn't missed it a month, or even if it's down to the wire, she's made it happen. So Erin, take it away. Hopefully I didn't talk too long and steal all of your introduction that you have, but I'm just excited for you guys to hear from her tonight.
Thanks, Caroline. So for the record, we have 0 red lights and 1 stop sign. So we are way more hit count than that.
Oh, so not even 1 red light.
So that is where I'm from. I maybe had 50 friends on Facebook, and they were all, we all went to kindergarten together. So that is where I'm from.
Oh, wow.
But thanks for the introduction. I'm excited to be here. I am going to just share kind of my story and how I've made Success Club a non-negotiable in my business. It's really been, the first thing I just want to say is it's an act of God. And I really, truly just surrendered that to Him, because January 1st, we went through an amazing goal-setting exercise with Caroline, and we wrote down business goals and personal goals, and Success Club every single month was one of my first goals that I wrote down. So I'm just going to share how I have kind of shifted my mindset to make that happen every single month. But before I do that, I want to share just a little bit about me. My favorite thing to talk about is my family and my kids, so I'm going to do that just for a few minutes. So I am in Central Illinois. I have been married to my husband, Jason, for 6 years in just a few weeks. And we have Bo, who is almost 4 in a few weeks, and Elsie is 18 months. So I started coaching when she was 2 months old. And I'm going to say I don't recommend that, but it was just a crazy time. But that's when the Lord put it on my heart to jump in, because I just knew that if I didn't make a change physically, mentally, emotionally, if I didn't do something, nothing was going to change. So I jumped in immediately. I still have that first Facebook message that I sent Caroline. I have it saved on my phone, and it said, if you'll have me, I think I want to be a coach on your team. So that's where my confidence started. And I can tell you that it has grown exponentially since then. But yeah, that's where I started. And when I jumped in, I knew that I wanted to build a business, but I was not prepared for, I guess I just wasn't prepared for the amount of work that it actually is. Being a business owner is hard work. And I feel like I dabbled for a long time, and I wasn't hitting Success Club consistently. And I always heard Caroline say, like, if you want to see your business grow, Success Club has to be just a non-negotiable. I'm like, all right. But I think that's for those coaches that have been doing this like 6, 8, 10 months. Like, I'm just a new coach. Like, I don't think that applies to me. So I kept working, and I found that my business was just not growing at the speed that I wanted it to. Here's my end goal for this. I would love to I'm a stay-at-home mom now, but I would love to build a full-time income doing this. And I knew that, like, at the rate I was going, that was not going to happen quickly. So January 1st is when we did this goal setting exercise with Caroline. And I remember where I was sitting on our couch. And I said to myself, I was thinking about just future goals, and I was like, I have this picture of what I want my kids' childhood to look like. I want them to be able to travel. I want them to have these experiences. I want them to, we don't have to worry about, can we sign everybody up for all of the sports and all the activities? Like, do we have that extra money? And I saw that vision in my head, and I wanted that for my kids. And I said, I don't want the one reason that they can't have that childhood to be mommy didn't work hard enough at this coaching gig. And I remember sitting there and tears came to my eyes, and I'm going to cry right now. And I just did not want that to be just on my heart for the rest of my life. Like, what if I really did work hard at this coaching thing? What if I gave it a real shot? Like, what could our lives look like? So at that moment, I said, this is it. Like, there's no other scapegoat, or is that how you say that? A scapegoat? I don't know. There's no other option. Coaching is it. Like, this is it. So I'm going to make this work. And that was the mindset shift that Caroline talks about. I honestly thought it was baloney, like a mindset shift. What in the world does that even mean? But you just have to experience it for yourself. And when it does, and when it clicks, you know it. And you can see what your coaching business has looked like before that versus after that mindset shift. So January, I'm like, all right, every single month. So let me tell you what I did in January to hit Success Club. I'm going to look at my notes real quick to make sure I'm not missing anything. But in January, let me back up. Before I decided to make this change, I was doing what my tracker said. I am a follow the rules type person. So I've been doing my Success Club tracker for 18 months now. And it says to talk to 3 to 5 people or invite 3 to 5 people a day. Okay. I was doing that most days, not every day. But that was not cutting it. Like, 3 to 5 people a day was not cutting it. So I knew that in order to hit Success Club, I needed to work harder than that. So let me tell you, I watched a training about this girl who had a notebook and filled every single line with the name of a person that she invited to her challenge group every single day. So I did that. I invited 33 people a day, every day in January, and I hit Success Club. So that just showed me, like, how much work I actually need to do to hit Success Club. Now, let me tell you this, though. After you get past that first month of hitting Success Club, all that momentum that you have built up with talking to those people, inviting them, putting out all these breadcrumbs and sowing all these seeds, that momentum starts to build, and it does get easier. It gets easier every month that you keep moving forward and hitting Success Club. So I will put that out there, but you can't stop just doing the work. So those 33 people that I invited every single day in January, I have been able to cultivate and keep those relationships going. And now some of them are just now joining me. Here it is, June. So just know that, like, yes, the Success Club tracker says talk to 3 to 5 people a day, but if you want to grow this business and you are serious about it, you have to 10X it. I don't know who wrote the 10X rule. It's going to escape me now. But you have to read that book, 10X Everything. Because if, I don't remember, Caroline might be able to tell me there's another coach that says if you kind of sort of try, you will kind of sort of get results. And that's what I was doing. I was kind of sort of trying and feeling like, yeah, I'm doing my coaching work, but I'm really just scrolling Instagram and like liking a whole bunch of pictures. And I was kind of sort of getting Success Club points, but not enough to hit Success Club every single month. So I think the number one thing for me was just fear. It was just fear of putting myself out there. It was fear of what people would think of me. It was fear of not really knowing what I was doing. Like, do we really ever completely know what we were doing in this business? I feel like I don't. But it was just that whole big fear of the unknown and walking into another month of not really knowing if God would provide those 3 people, or if anybody would, vote on my poll when I put a poll up on my stories. It was just the fear. And I just had to get over that with just that first step. And I think that first step was the mindset shift. And then the second step was just action. It was just action. We can go Monday after Monday after Monday after Monday doing these team calls and talking about what we need to do. But what really counts is Tuesday through Friday. Are you putting this stuff into practice? Are you doing what you say you're going to do? Are you doing your tracker? So my last thing I want to just kind of end with is how I did this. And my team knows that I preach the tracker. I make them print it out and do it every single day. We have a thread going like, post your tracker, post your tracker. It works, guys. It works. The tracker works. 10x those connections and 10x those invites. If you want to hit Success Club, you have to be talking to more people than you think. I know Caroline has said this too, but Brian learned in his sales training that if you talk to 10 people, 1 might join you. So just think about it. If you want 3 people every month, you're going to be talking to 30 plus people. That's a lot of people. You have to keep those conversations going. So talk to more people. And the last thing I just kind of threw on here like a couple minutes ago, because I don't know why, but I'm going to say it anyway. I really, really, truly believe that getting your Instagram game strong is super helpful. Being able to post really good pictures and really good captions. Like when you think of, like when I reached out to Caroline, that's why I reached out to her, because I loved what she was posting and her pictures were pretty and her Instagram stories made me want to come back and look at them. So that's why I've just been really, really focusing on, on my notes here, I said post like a boss, but that doesn't sound like Central Illinois redneck country. So, so post like something, but I really believe that you have to get that game going, because that's your storefront. Ty's got Boss Babe up there. But it's your storefront, and people, we always say this, but people are not buying Beachbody products. They can buy those off the infomercial. They're buying you. And I just really believe that you have to have that great storefront that attracts people to you. So I think that is it. I want to end with a YouTube video. Is that okay, Caroline, if I share my screen?
Yeah, totally. Of course.
Okay.
Let you, and then we'll do questions.
So let me preface. Yeah, that's fine. Let me preface that Jason, my husband, was like, have you ever seen this video? You have to share this on your team call. So we're going to do it. Here it goes.
Love it.
Do it! Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it! Make your dreams come true! Just do it! Some people dream of success while you're going to work up and work hard at it. Nothing is impossible. You should get to the point where anyone else would quit, and you're not going to stop there. No, what are you waiting for? Do it! Just do it! Yes, you can! Just do it! If you're tired of starting over, stop giving
Okay.
That was
I
amazing.
thought that was hilarious.
We're just gonna start
So
sending people that.
that's my final advice. You just have to do the work. What, Caroline?
I said we'll just start sending people that video whenever they're like, "Hey, so Caroline, what's the secret sauce to hitting Success Club?" Here's the link.
I truly believe it. Like, we can say all day long that we're doing all this stuff, but we probably are not doing all the stuff. And when you start doing it, the numbers will show. You'll start hitting Success Club, I promise you, but you have to do the work. So I would love to answer any questions.
I think Courtney posted a question. She said, I'll go ahead and put my question in here. If you started out with 50 Facebook friends, how did you find those 33 people a day? That's a good question.
That is a good question. So obviously I started building my network before this. So probably by January, I was up to a couple thousand followers. But the 33 people came from people liking my photos, people watching my stories, and I dug into my followers list of people I had welcomed. I always send welcome messages, like Courtney said last week. She sends a welcome message to everyone that follows her on Instagram. I am diligent about doing that. So the people that we've had conversations with, I was sending out invites. So I hope that's helpful, Courtney. Holly, what are you hashtagging on Instagram to attract people? Okay, so I am probably not the person to talk about hashtags because I'm hit and miss with them. I have in my notes app on my phone, I have a list of hashtags for fitness, for mom, for Christian living. So depending on what I'm posting about that day, I will post that group of hashtags in the comments. And I use Caroline, can you remind me of the website that I use to get those hashtags?
I can't remember off the top of my head. I can get it for you guys though. Sorry.
Yeah, I can't remember either. It's basically a website that you type in like boy mom, and it comes up with a whole bunch of different hashtags that are more unique and less used, because like boy mom probably has millions and millions of pictures and stories attached to it, but maybe like Midwest boy mom would be more of a niche for me. So I would use that hashtag instead of just boy mom. So I hope that helps a little bit.
Yeah, I think sometimes we think, and we'll get into this in the new coach mentorship, or if you've gone through the Holy Hustle, but I think a lot of times we think like, oh, if we're too niche, whatever, then we'll send people away. But the reality is that, I mean, you don't have to have a ton of people you're helping every month to grow this business, you know? And so if you look at it as 3 people a month, well, I don't need 10,000 followers to do that. I only need like, you know, a solid 3 people each month. Like I could do that just going to the grocery store and to work and, you know, some of the different places and not even have to really have an Instagram account. So, but with the Instagram account, obviously we speak to the exact kind of person we want to work with. And that's one thing that I've learned in this business over time is that it's a whole lot more fun when you're working with people you really, really like. Like it's a lot more fun when you're working with people that you could actually invite over to your house and say like, let's have coffee together. Like, let's be real in life friends. Obviously, most of us don't live near each other, so that's not physically possible. But like this business is way more fun when you attract those kind of people instead of these random people who are nothing like you. And so even though there's going to be differences, like even if for me, it's not like I'm saying I don't want to work with people who aren't a mom because I'm a mom and I talk about being mom all the time. It's not that, but it's just saying that like I'm going to be who I am and speak to the things that are specific to me. And so coming up with like 5 things that make you and are very specific to you. Like a lot of times in my posts, I say y'all and I talk about being Southern, and I still attract tons of Northerners because look at all the Northerners on this call. But, it's something that's specific to me, And so I think sometimes we think, oh, I'm putting myself in a corner, but you're not, because you're attracting your ideal person. And they're going to trust you more because you get them, So something you said, Erin, and I want to kind of ask you about this because I think the other girls might be curious about it. Well, wait, I think there was more. Oh, someone said search hashtag generator. Yes, good call. So I'm sure this is a question that lots of people are asking or wondering. So they're a brand new coach. They're listening to this call. We've got lots of coaches on here tonight who are a month into the business, not even that, maybe some of them 2 weeks. Where, if you could go back and do month 1 over again, knowing what you know now, or maybe there's someone who's on this call and they've been in a stuck place and they're trying to figure out how they can get unstuck and get back to hitting Success Club or whatever. What would you kind of go back and tell that person?
So I definitely thought about this before the call, and the thing that kept coming to my head was confidence. I was scared out of my mind when I first started. I did not want people to think I was selling to them. I did not want people, I didn't want people to see my progress photos. I didn't want people to like watch me work out on my Instagram stories. I was just scared. But the whole coaching and Beachbody had changed me so much already. And I was 180 degrees not the same person I was because of surrendering all of this to Jesus and jumping into coaching and jumping into this community. I was already a changed person, but I was so scared to tell anyone about it. Like Caroline, I think we kind of have similar stories. I jumped onto social media first. When I first started coaching, I'm like, I'll just find a whole bunch of random Instagram people. But I regret that now, that I didn't tell my mom about Beachbody when I first started. And I didn't tell my best friend down the road about Beachbody because I was just scared. And I wish I would have done that, because now those people are asking, they're asking like, hey, Erin, you're still doing this. Like you haven't quit yet. Like what's going on? And I just wish I would have been confident when I first started, and confident in saying like, hey, this has changed my life. I think it could change yours too. Yeah, that's it. Confidence.
Yeah. And one thing you said, Erin, that I loved, that I just wanted to kind of point out, especially for new coaches, you said people can go on Beachbody's website and purchase, but we want them to want to work with us. And I think that's a shift that for me has happened. Even if I look at my Instagram or my business in the past year, I don't ever talk about Beachbody, like hardly ever, especially in a post on Instagram. Like I talk about it in my Instagram stories and I share about it on there, but I'm not, my regular everyday posts are posts that's just are inspiring and encouraging and whatever it is, making people laugh because, whatever. So I love that you said that, because at the end of the day, we're not here to be Beachbody robots. I always tell people, they're like, tell me about Fit for His Glory. I'm like, okay, awesome. Here's all the info about Fit for His Glory. I'm also a Beachbody coach. Beachbody is a part of what I do. It's not all that I do. And that's how I've looked at my business. And I think that when you look at it like that, and you look at it as, I'm a health and fitness coach and this is what I do, and I want to serve people, and Beachbody is a part of that. It's not all that makes me, and it helps people trust you more than if you're just that person who's walking around like everything Beachbody, all the time. And so I love that you hit on that. And I think for new coaches, that's really key, is just figuring out what are those things that make you. And even as believers, I think sometimes we think, oh, we're all Christians, so we're all going to look the same. No, we're not. We're all very different, because there's things that make all of us so much different from each other. So any other questions? You can drop them in the chat. Or
Yeah.
go ahead, Erin.
Courtney, yeah, go. All I was going to say was Courtney was preaching Jenna Kutcher at me again today. And because we know she loves the Gold Digger podcast. Maybe she could share what podcast this was, but she was telling me about how Jenna Kutcher shares about creating a brand and branding yourself and what you do. Beachbody is just a tiny part. Like you just said, it's a tiny part of what we do. I meet so many people that are like, I see tons of Beachbody coaches out there, but you are the only one that talks about Jesus. Mm-hmm. And that's a brand. You know, we can build that into our brand because we're Christians. And like, how cool is that Beachbody lets us do that? Yeah. So where was I going with that? Jenna Kutcher podcast about building a brand. Yeah, it's just not all about Beachbody. And that's the cool thing about being a business owner is we can have a say over that. So, yeah.
Awesome. She posted it here. Why you need a brand, not a business. I've actually listened to that one. Love it. Anybody else? All right.
I don't know, Erin, I just want to say thanks for sharing everything, because now that I've heard the way you push yourself to meet Success Club every month, 33 people is like a very intimidating number, but I'm ready to take it on. That's and I'm like, I've started to try to welcome all the new followers. I've started to put those things into practice a little bit, but I think I need clear action plans and goals. So that helps so much. That helped me so much.
Yeah, that's huge. And I think for those of you who are like, okay, well, what are you messaging these people? Courtney did an incredible training last week on inviting and what those conversations look like. So if you missed last week's call, that would be a great place to go back to and listen, because it was incredible. And I think all of our heartbeats would be same. Valerie asked, what's your suggestion on finding new people? I feel like I'm pulling from the same Instagram accounts. Is that okay? I don't know what other accounts are my jam. I can answer this, and then Erin, if she wants to answer it. But
yeah,
I'm constantly finding new authors. Like I've just read one book, and I went to that author and I started following a bunch of her people. And so, I mean, she's got so many followers that I could, and one thing I do is I don't follow people who follow her. I follow people who like her post, because I want engaged followers, not just followers who follow people. So I go through and follow those people. I typically follow about, it depends, like 20 to 30 people a day. And then I'm messaging all the people who follow me back. But I don't go through and unfollow. That's one thing I don't do. I'm cool with if I'm following a ton of people, because I'm not here to be a blogger. I'm here to build relationships. So for me, I don't want to be that person who's unfollowing. That's not what I want to do. I want to follow people, and then hopefully those other people follow me back. But authors are really big for me. And then like musicians, I don't know, Christian artists like Carrie Joe, or people who I just love. I'm like, if I love them, maybe my person loves them, you know? So that's what I personally do. Erin?
Yeah, same thing. I have been looking through like Jenna Kutcher, and Christy Wright is the business boutique that kind of goes along with Dave Ramsey. Like those ladies that are following her are already business minded. So like coaching might fit in perfectly with what they're already doing. So yeah, I always go into there and go from there. So yep, same thing, Caroline.
Yeah.
Oh, here's one more thing though. I've been following like 200 to 300 a day, because I'm really, really trying to grow. I want that 10K swipe up feature on my Instagram account. So I do like 200 to 300 a day.
That's smart. Yeah. And I will say too, like some people are like, I mean, I've had people be like, I just don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to follow people. But I mean, honestly, it's just being strategic and being smart. You're just trying to, nobody's going to find your Instagram account like randomly. They're not going to randomly probably stumble upon like, oh, I think I'm going to look up Fit for His Glory and see if that's an Instagram account. You know, like you have to be strategic. And I think it's wise to be strategic in your business. And so, I mean, think about it. Storefronts, they're strategic about where they place their stores. They do tons of market research and they hire people and they, you know, like people are strategic about what they do. And like Erin said, this is our storefront. And so you constantly have to be thinking about how can I grow? What can I learn, you know, to make it better? And that's what I've done. Everybody says, people will be like, well, I don't know how to use Canva, or I don't know how to edit photos. Figure it out. YouTube it. Like that's what I've done. I YouTube everything. Like nothing I know came from any prior experience that I have. Everything has been self-taught. And I think that's one of the, if I could tell a new coach anything, I could tell you to make YouTube your best friend and, you know, like take courses, learn. I've never really paid for anything either. I've always done free stuff because I'm cheap, but just be resourceful because there's so many tools out there.
One more. Can I pop in really quick?
Yeah, Courtney, go.
One more thing that I thought of as you guys were talking, that I think, Caroline, you're the one who said this before, that like when we're talking about Success Club and pushing so hard, to remember that, you know, we're growing our business, but like these are people. Like behind every 2 points is a person whose life could potentially change. Like and Erin won't say this about herself, so I will say it about her. Like she grinds so hard, and I know it's because she knows that combining faith and fitness with like a faith with your fitness could change your life, you know? And so it's really cool. Like I've watched her be down to the wire and be like, I'm going to do this. Like, because I know that those people are out there, and it's encouraged me. Like we became purpose partners when I was like 2 months into this business, and a squirrel is what I always like describe myself as, but I was like panicking and don't know what to do. And like to watch her say, no, like I'm going to do this, has really encouraged me to remind myself, like, if I work hard enough, it can happen. And these are people that we're working to serve and to help. And so anyway, that's my 2 cents.
I just moved offices, so it's still in progress. But in my old office, I had a dry erase board up, and every time that someone bought a challenge pack or just bought anything, I would write their name up there. There's Anna Bays, look at it. I would write their name up there. And that way, like, I could be praying for them during the week, and just be top of mind of like this person, their goals. So just think about things like that you can do, because I think that makes a big difference. I'm gonna end this with really quick story. One of the sweetest moments I've had in coaching, and this is Erin's gonna be like, oh gosh, but last year at Summit, we were all at a team dinner, and Erin had walked off. I think she was taking a photo or something, and Brian and I were sitting in there. Jason, her husband, had come to Summit, and he goes, hey Caroline, he's like, I just wanted to tell you, like, thank you so much. And he was like, I've literally seen coaching has changed my wife's life. Like, obviously Jesus changed it first, but like coaching has literally changed her life. He's like, I mean, like just to see how she has changed, like her own personal health and fitness, but then just like how she's like just coming out of her shell in this, and it's bringing her so much joy. And like, I don't remember word for word what he said, but I'm not even kidding y'all. That was just like the moment where it was like, this is so much bigger than myself. Like for so long, I have just been like, I want this to be to work for me and my family. And in that moment, it was like, Caroline, this isn't just about you and your family. This is now about all these other families. And that has been one of the most rewarding moments in coaching. And I can't wait to have a million more of them. But it was just so cool. Just, I mean, how many guys like are like, hey, let me just tell you this, you know? So when a guy does that, you're like, whoa, like that was so sweet. But it was just a cool moment, and it just made me like just love Erin even more. So anyways, I just had to say that because it was so cool. But I'm so proud of you, Erin, and all of you guys. If there's any other questions, I'm sure Erin is an open book. You can probably message her and ask her anything. But otherwise, I would love to end with prayer tonight. And does anybody have anything specific I can be praying for this week? Or you can drop it in the chat box too if you don't want to unmute yourself. All right. Well, let me just pray over you guys, and then we can hop off here. But again, if you have any questions for Erin, let her know. After I pray, we'll take a really quick picture, and then we'll hop off. Oh, Alyssa, I've been on the couch for about 5 minutes and feeling super overwhelmed. Oh, don't feel overwhelmed. Oh, I've been a coach for about 5 minutes. Alyssa, do not feel super overwhelmed. It's all going to come together, but we'll pray for you for sure. Okay. Heavenly Father, God, thank you so much for these incredible women, God. Thank you for their hearts just to serve you first and foremost, God. Lord, we are so thankful for this opportunity, Lord. It's an amazing opportunity and responsibility that you have called us to, God. Lord, I'm so thankful for a place where I can work and serve people, but ultimately point them back to you, Jesus. I mean, there is not that opportunity in many places, God. And so to be able to just shine boldly for you is such a gift. And I just thank you for these incredible women that I get to do it with. God, that we get to run together, we get to serve people together, we get to love on people together, we get to be encouraging each other, we get to be strategic together, we get to share wisdom together, we get to share our learnings together, God. I pray that you would just give us patient endurance in this business, God. Lord, we know that it's not going to be quick success or quick money or quick anything, but God, would you just help us to run this race with that patient endurance, God, knowing and trusting that you've got it in the palm of your hand, God. Lord, I want these women to look back on their time with Beachbody and just be so blessed by it, and just know that they gave their absolute best in every situation. And Lord, that's what you call us to. And so, Lord, I pray that you would just bless them and use them this week, God. Multiply their efforts, multiply their results, Lord. I pray specifically for Alyssa, who just signed up as a coach, God, and she's starting to feel overwhelmed. God, I pray that if anyone on this call feels that way, God, that they would just be reminded of their why and why they're here, God. They're here to serve people. They're here to love people. They're here to maybe give their family freedom. I don't know what that looks like for them. Everyone's different and has a different calling in this, God. But Lord, I pray that you would just remind them tonight of why they're here, God, and just to take small steps, because this business is not going to boom overnight, God, but you call us to be consistent and committed. And so I pray that we would do that this week, God, and moving forward, Lord. Thank you for Erin. Thank you for her heart to share, God. Thank you for just how you're working in her business, God. We praise you because we know that we couldn't do it on our own, Lord. We don't want to do it on our own. Lord, we trust you, and we just thank you so much for this incredible opportunity, God. We love you, and we praise you. And again, I pray just blessings over these women. Bring people their way, God, that they can share you ultimately with, but also coaching and challenge groups and these products with, God, this week. God, I pray that you would use them in mighty ways. And it's in your holy and precious name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on. Courtney, do you want to snap a photo for us or somebody? My phone's being funky, so let's all smile real quick.
My phone is dead.
Oh, okay. Somebody.
Who is it?
My phone's working. It's just I have this pop-up screen on my phone right now, and it says it's going to restart my computer, and I can't have that happening in the middle of the call. So
I can take a screenshot.
Hold on. I can go get mine.
Oh, it's okay.
I can do it. Sorry, I couldn't. My computer was doing something weird. Okay.
Okay.
Ready?
Where'd Aaron go?
I got it.
Okay. Ready?
Oh.
1, 2, 3.
Got it.
Yay. Okay, well, share it with us. All right, y'all. Thanks for being on. Thanks, Aaron. Y'all are awesome.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.